Man, I just love watermelon. You know how much I love watermelon?
Yeah, watermelon.
What the freak was that? What's good, fam? Welcome back to another video. Today, y'all gonna learn how to make an R&B melody in 4 steps. It's gonna be very simple, and if you have good sound selection, then you can definitely do this. So go ahead and Batista bomb that like button, leave a comment, let me know who your favorite R&B artist is or R&B producer. Go ahead and follow my socials at TLaron, and like always, it's gonna be a fun time. Let's get into it. So step 1, establishing the main melody. In most of my videos, I'll say that the main melody is the foundation for the whole beat. So if you have a good strong foundation, it's gonna be smooth sailing for real. So for the first sound, we got keys undertonal, and this one came out of this Paradisal sound kit in Serum. This one sounds like this. When making R&B melodies, I love to start off with a very good sound for the first foundation. For me personally, I think that if the first melody or first sound is kind of mid for real, then I don't get as inspired to finish the beat for real. So that's why I love to say the sound selection is very important, because it can definitely give you some more inspiration for finishing the beat. But for the sound, it was very full already. Like, it had like a lot of texture to it, so that's why I loved it. So to make something similar, right, it's a very simple melody, nothing complex about it at all, just very simple 7 chords. So we're in the key of A sharp minor, and we're starting on the 5th. So let's say that we want to start in G minor. So I'm gonna go ahead and start on D, or let's try D sharp actually. So we're gonna make a D sharp major chord. Now let's go down to an A sharp, and then we can go up to a C, fix some of the notes to make sure that's in the scale. Alright, so now we're down at an A, and to make it sound even more R&B-ish, I might change one of the notes. I'll probably take this up. Now that sounds good to me, but I think that if you want to go even further, then you might take some of the notes and invert them so that they're kind of like close together. So let's go ahead and take this up to an A sharp maybe, take this to a D like that. We can take this up to a C, and then this up to an A. So now they sound more consistent. After inverting, I didn't like this chord, so I actually made it a different chord. I dropped the D sharp to a D, a G to an F sharp, and a C sharp to a C. So now we get this. But yeah, so it's very simple. It's just 7 chords and knowing the progressions. If you need a tutorial about progressions and music theory, then I can definitely make one. But in the meantime, I would just suggest going to some simple music theory videos. It'll definitely give you some help about making some simple chord progressions. So that was step 1. Like I said, just making the main foundation. So now step 2, very easy, just layering. You're gonna find different sounds to make it sound fuller, and layering is not even just about copying the same sound. It could be copying the melody, but then changing it to where it's playing at different times, if that makes sense. So it's still layering, but with a twist. For the first layer, we got a pad out of the same kit. It's called Tours, and this one's gonna make it sound a lot fuller and just better. So we get this. For that, just the imagery to make it sound more wide. Now it's still layering, but like I said, it's gonna be with a twist. So I went to this preset out of the same bank called Energy from the Hybrid Brass preset, and this one basically it's in the arpeggio. So what I did, right, was that I took the chords, highlighted them, and I did Alt A. And what that do is that it's gonna bring up the arpeggiator screen. Now you probably can't see it because I'm on OBS, but it's an arpeggiator. And pretty much you can go ahead and change the values to make it be longer or shorter. So it's still layering, but like I said, with a twist. For that, we have on the EQ on a radio preset, make it sound more muffled. Got a pancake for some panning. Then we have on a effect rack on a magic airspace, pretty much just like some reverb with some micro shift for some chorus. Now next, we're still kind of layering, kind of not. Like I said, it's gonna be with a twist. So this is pretty much common in every beat that you make with a bass in it. So when you have a synth bass, what do? Usually you'll copy the bass notes out of the chords. So I grabbed this Bass Eternity out of Analog Lab, one of my favorite basses out of this R&B kit, and this one sounds like this. Sometimes on my synth bass to make it sound fuller and beefier, I add on a decapitator on the beefy preset. So after completing step 2, you get something like this. So just 2 steps, we already got pretty far, but let's go further. So for step 3, what was it again? Yeah, for step 3, we get into counter melodies. Now for some people, these could be easy. For some others, it could be hard. For me, depends on how I'm feeling. So first, for the first counter melody, we got this little lead out of the same bank. It's called Lead, one of the classics. And this one, I just played it out on my keyboard. I heard something in my head, and I just said on my keyboard. I don't know what that was, but you know, that's how I played it pretty much. So we get this. On my channel, I don't ever explain how to make counter melodies because I think that a lot of it is just about what you hear in your head. I think the best way to get better at making those counter melodies is to, you know, just practice. Practice makes perfect. I can't show you how to make it. I can just give you, you know, how I do it for real. For effects, we have on EQ, cut out the lows, and there's some reverb. So for the next counter melody, I'm actually using the loop. It's a guitar lead kind of loop, and this one sounded very good with the melody. So I'm gonna just play it and explain what I did to it. That just sounds so heavenly and just so moist. Is that weird to use those in the same sentence? So for that, I just added on some reverb with some ROM. Just very simple reverb pretty much. But yeah, so that was step 3, counter melodies. So now we get to the last step, which sometimes it could be longer, it could be shorter. But for this one, it's probably a little bit longer. So for step 4, we got embellishments. And this one, it's kind of optional. It really depends on what you want to do with it and where you want to go with it. So for me personally, sometimes with R&B melodies, I would add vocals a lot. Like almost every melody I make has a vocal in it. I don't know why, but I might add in a vocal, percussion loops, transitions, accents, or whatever. So first, let's go ahead and get into the vocal. Pretty fire vocal out of the Paradiso sound kit. For that one, I added on the compressor to make it sound more consistent because it did have some higher volumes with some lower volumes. Then I have an EQ that I use for most vocals, pretty much to make it sound like a radio effect. And then of course some reverb with some ROM. Next is a perk loop, which usually for most melodies I love to add some bounce to it or some movement. So I might use a perk loop or whatever. I'm actually using 2 different perk loops put together. So we get this right here. Then next I might go ahead and add some transitions and some accents. So first we get this one, which came out of this producer grind drum kit. It's actually a free one too. They got some very nice sounds in there. Then we got this accent out of the same drum kit as well. Just some delay on it with some ROM on it. Then just because I want to add some noise to it, so I got the noise preset out of the same R&B drum kit. Sounds like this. Just to make it sound even more unique. So that's all the steps right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the full loop. But yeah, that's the loop, fam. So like I said, step 1, main foundation. Step 2, layer. Step 3, counter melodies. Step 4, embellishments. So hopefully you liked that. Hopefully you enjoyed that, learned something from it. If you did, go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you want to see next. Follow my socials at TLaron. Go ahead and give me 10 push-ups. Go ahead and drink your water. And thank you for watching my videos. I really appreciate all the support. So yeah, let's keep rising and getting better. Peace.